Dogpack 404 video dropped exposing MrBeast, and it's gone Obama viral. Today we're gonna look at it, make it a little more ADHD autism friendly, and dive into the meat and potatoes of the Christina MrBeast ain't the only imposter on the roster.
He's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face can be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender?
Ruh-roh, MrBeast, there's a school zone. We can't film anymore. You know, they're pretty much joking, but they also kind of allege that MrBeast did a war crime.
The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists.
Baba Booey.
WestJett.
What is up, black man here in Delaware? WestJett 615, Venezuelan trillionaire here, and today we're talking about MrBeast. Oh, and literally 0% of you are subscribed, so be sure to subscribe. Yeah. As Dogpack 404 mentioned, the video was a bit slow, and all of the juice, the meat and gritty of things was at the end of it. This video was a bit difficult to make because I had to consider, do I play the general consensus here and fence it like Ludwig, or do I say what I actually feel and give you my opinion? And if you're mad at me, fuck you, I don't care.
There was another writer there, older comic, black guy, he had a kid, and I got paid more than him, and I thought that was wild because he was older than me, had a child.
And he was black. I don't know if you heard that I mentioned that earlier. That's really important. Hear that? MrBeast is trick-or-treating and it's not even Halloween. He got the ghost costume on. He bringing back Jim Crow. This happened 7 minutes into the video and it sort of left a bad taste in my mouth for the rest of it. I was like, why are you bringing a race into it? This makes no sense. Like, stay on topic. You know what I mean?
We're doing the exact same job, and I'm some 20-year-old white guy. Why am I getting paid more than him? I brought that up. 20-year-old white guy.
Let's just say hypothetically he was Mexican and he was getting paid more than the black guy. Would that be all right then? Like, what kind of flawed logic is this? Other than that hiccup, the rest of his story was pretty down to earth, and he broke down a couple of times, and I felt sort of bad myself. When you're making an exposed video and you operate on emotion, it sort of invalidates some of the claims in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying this from a hateful place, I'm saying it from a more logical perspective.
Do you think Jimmy really enjoys doing good and helping people?
I think Jimmy wants to be the best YouTuber. I think he is laser focused on one goal. And I think whatever he has to do to achieve that goal, he'll do.
They touched this quote-unquote good concept a couple of times in the video, and I personally think this is a childish outlook on life. There's no such thing as good or bad people, there's good or bad actions, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what intentions he has if he's doing good. He's still building 100 wells. They're not going anywhere. MrBeast is a YouTuber, not a government. If he gives a homeless person 10 grand and makes 100 grand off the video, who cares? It's still a net positive to the homeless person. And don't get me wrong, I ain't even riding MrBeast like Ludwig does. I just think that all the criticism towards him should be valid rather than like personal and like opinionated. Like, focus on the sex offender he knew he had on his team.
He's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? But when I was there, they called him Delaware. He's like, why do you call him Delaware? And I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware.
Just a classy MrBeast cover-up, you know what I'm saying? Giving a sex offender a catchy, cool, hip nickname and then immediately making a toys for children right after, hey. And it gets even worse. The guy in question is apparently brothers-in-law with Jake the Viking, so the cookie really crumbles. The Jimmy New tweet didn't age well at all. I'm a little dirty for this one. I won't lie to y'all, it's quite easy to pick apart this guy, call him a crybaby, expose him for saying some dumb stuff, but there is one thing I won't invalidate, is his experience, his story, and his trauma.
And I get a call from somebody over there, and they go, hey, they want you for a video. I was like, oh, amazing, great, cool, thank God. What's the video? And they tell me the pitch. And they try to make the pitch sound like it's gonna be like a walk in the park. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement.
Yeah, maybe a walk in the park if you're a Chilean in Guantanamo Bay. This sounds miserable.
Oh, at first it's gonna be like a luxury vacation. You're gonna have like a hot tub and your ice cream machine, and like part of the video is gonna be you deciding like what items am I gonna get rid of, today, and it's like the choice. They were like, it's only gonna be bad for you to last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first. It's gonna be like a breeze for most of it, and by the end of it, after 30 days, you're gonna get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day.
The premise of the video is low-key dark triad psychopathy borderline, but nevertheless, $300,000 is a large chunk of money.
They were like, you're gonna be locked in this room and we gotta make sure you're on all the time. We're gonna have cameras on you all the time and you're perfect for this because you never shut the f up. If I have to do solitary confinement in order to do the things I want to do, then I will do that. That I held my tongue and I swallowed my pride and I tried to do one last ride.
He could have just said no. Like, he's making it sound like he couldn't have just said no. Like, I understand you're somewhat coerced into it, but you're still a grown man. If you said no, I'm pretty sure they'd find somebody else. And they did.
And, I mean, they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, you know? Which, that's probably not good, you know, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Like, things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. You know, there's not like a hot water mechanism, so the hot tub was a lukewarm tub at best, which was a silly complaint.
At least he's self-aware on some of the stuff, because while giving this video its initial watch, he sorta came off as a whiner. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This guy clearly never went fishing because every good story needs a hook and it wasn't there. A parallel analogy I can give you guys is McCamey Manor. If you guys remember that haunted house that gives you money if you pass through and nobody ever does, it's like a Kids Bop rundown version of McCamey Manor where you actually get paid for the number of days you last anyway. In McCamey Manor, you don't get paid at all.
Like at first it was fine, you know, and you're playing it up, like, cause you know it's a video, and it got to a point where like they weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? You know? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots.
And this is where I'm precisely on this dude's side, because guys, it's a time-lapse shot. Turn off the lights, maybe give him a face mask. You're essentially conducting Russian sleep deprivation experiments. And the dude apparently still goes to therapy and is traumatized by that, which is maybe why he's a little unstable and can't really collect his words.
The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. I just wanted to turn the lights off. And I'm vocalizing to people, I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists.
While the idea sounds good on paper, and the second video did end up giving MrBeast a lot of views, like, where do you stop? Like, at what point does it get too far? This seems intense.
He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans? You know how hard it was to do a take of that? To pretend to make it genuine? I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage.
What do you mean you didn't want to be in a cage? You signed up for it. You can't blame MrBeast for the problems of capitalism in society.
You have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it.
What do you mean power over people? But I kind of get what he's saying. You know, every time I'm driving my car and I see somebody riding a bike with like a big backpack, I start laughing at them uncontrollably, like.
Like I was not having a good time, but we were filming a video. So I was trying my best to be funny, you know. I'm a dark comic, you know. I got bits about. I had a very traumatic life. I have my dad is in jail for sexual assault of a minor, you know.
I feel bad for this guy, but I'm not gonna pretend he's not unstable. He's literally venting to the camera, talking about private things for essentially no real reason, other than the fact that MrBeast made a weird joke about him.
All right, you're going to jail, you know, like your dad, and like. It's a joke. But when my friends do it, it's fine, and Jimmy just wasn't my friend.
Then tell it to his face. Sucker punch him right in the Crohn's disease, you know what I mean?
He was my boss. And that wasn't cool.
I agree. MrBeast probably shouldn't have said that. Maybe he overestimated their dynamic and he thought he was friendlier with him than he was. But at the end of the day, as you said yourself, it's a joke.
And so the thing that made me want to, I gotta get out. I can't do another day in a year. Jimmy comes in and, I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, why is he sleeping? I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he goes, ask me why I have 2 briefcases. And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, oh, because this one's for today, you know, and this one's for the challenge. And I go, what's the challenge today? He goes, you're gonna run a marathon.
Now, I'm not downplaying what MrBeast has done, but he clearly underestimated the effect that solitary confinement has on somebody who isn't ready for it.
You know, that's one of the reasons why they got me. Jake's, he's an inside guy, so he'll do whatever. We can push him a little extra hard because we know he's good. I couldn't say no to the treadmill thing.
Yes, he could have. It would have just ended the challenge and he wouldn't have gotten the extra money.
And I'm running until 3 a.m. I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid.
This is a hard one for me to cover because I truly feel bad for the guy, but some of the things I gotta call out and I can't really let slide, you know what I mean?
I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25, 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like, even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less.
It's not like McCamey Manor where you don't get paid if you don't complete the challenge. He still got paid for the days, and the fact that he's complaining about it at the end just is kind of crazy to me because this seems like he's more concerned about the money rather than his mental health.
He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. You know when you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he like touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just... I didn't have to pretend to do that shit.
A bit of a weird thing to say in my opinion, but I digress.
She says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers. Yeah, you know, your mental health's the most important thing. You know, just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is... I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before it got out.
If what he's saying he experienced is 100% accurate and there's even a slight possibility that he got coerced into anything, don't expose MrBeast on a YouTube expose. What's that gonna do? Go see some lawyers. Next up in the video, Dogpack exposed MrBeast for leaving trash behind at a lake and sort of like capping about it.
If you're wondering, yes, we did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after this video. For the love of God, subscribe so we can pass T-Series.
Yes, so he says at the end of the video that they made sure it was cleaned up. I was actually on site for part of this production. I was at this camp. So I decided to send an email out to the camp.
The Bible camp was too wholesome to call him out, but they didn't deny that he didn't leave trash, so interesting.
They didn't clean it all up. So in the case of Jake Weddle, like, I'm sure that there were producers who were in a position of, hey, if Jake gets out early, we don't have a video and your job is at risk. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on top of like him being delirious from not sleeping and everything to just manipulate him into staying.
I personally think the first video was much more tangible. It focused more on the facts and didn't really have any opinions or emotions riddled into it.
Which, you know, I'm sure this isn't like technically against the Geneva Convention on torture because he wasn't technically a prisoner. Like, he could have left at any time, but because of the extreme pressure.
Jimmy doesn't like me, that's fine. I don't like him either, it's okay. Oh, that feels so good to say. I don't like Jimmy, I hate you so much.
I feel like both parties underestimated how hard this is going to be on the Jake guy, and at the end of the day, this video sorta kinda felt like a pity party.
I put my YouTube on with the whiteboard they gave me. And I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead and scrub that footage. You know, you got that whiteboard. Oh no, either that goes in or this footage is unusable. And then, you know, James Warren came in and erased it, you know, fucking, you know.
MrBeast really said no self-promo in my Discord server. Jake Weddle also confirmed that he was in a MrBeast video that was fake, so that doesn't really help MrBeast at all.
I was a writer there, and we were working on a video, crushing my friend's car with a rock or meteor or something. It was a rock or a meteor in the title of it, I can't remember, but he wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car, and they're supposed to think a rock came out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Weddle's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car. Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
Well, obviously we knew the meteor was fake. Last year you were 25, this year you're 26. Which one is it, Jimmy, you fraud? I'm sort of conflicted on the Jake Weddle thing because on one point I feel sorry for him, the trauma he experienced in his story, but on the other hand, he's a consenting adult who sort of agreed to it. So it's really a hard position to take. Makes sense why Ludwig's a fence sitter. If you guys remember Delaware from earlier, the most important stuff came exactly at the end of the video. Apparently his victim was from the ages of 1 to 11, so Kris Tyson got some competition in the building.
On how you could have not known that there was an offender at a high level in your company. And while you're responding to that, why not just respond to the allegations of rigging contest videos and selling fake signatures, running illegal lotteries, you know, the dangerous conditions on the set of Beast games, you should address those too. So yeah, just let us know. Just let us know.
To subscribe to WestJett's channel, we're about to hit 600 million subs, boys.